Hey there, okay, this is going to be video number 61 and it's going to be video number 23 of module 3. This time we're going to use the fractals indicator, and this is one that nobody else knows about either because I've just come up with this strategy. Alright, and it was quite funny how it seems to work. Anyway, let me know what you think. Alright, okay, so the way it works was, well, initially I was looking at areas like the ADX, like how I was focusing with the other videos that we've done in this module with the ADX, and I was kind of like focusing on this black line mainly, and where it would actually cross above 30, and also looking at which either the positive or the negative directional index would meet up at the same time. So, and I was looking for areas like here, for instance, where it actually crosses, and the first thing I see was this fractal low, and I thought, oh, that was interesting. So then I started to look to see if this pattern emerged all the time. So then got to this area right here, and I was like, oh, well, that was short-lived, and that didn't come through. So then I looked at this one over here, and then that was short-lived as well. So I thought, okay, well, that must have been just a coincidence that this one happened to have a fractal right at this particular point where it moved above 30. Can you see where I'm coming from? Alright, so I started thinking about something different, and then I started looking at the crossovers, and then I wanted to see if these crossovers here, where the positive and the negative directional index meet up for the first time and cross over each other again. So then I wanted to see if fractal highs or lows came on these. So when the positive directional index is above the negative directional index, I wanted to see if there was a fractal high on there, and there wasn't. And the same conversely with the negative directional index, I wanted to see if it would, once it crossed over the positive directional index, I wanted to see if there was a fractal low, and on this one there isn't. So I thought, okay, what else could I do? So the next thing I looked at was this. I counted back from this section here, right where my crosshair tool is, and I crossed back from there, and I left clicked on my mouse button, and I'm holding it down, and I wanted to see how far away this next fractal high is. And why I'm choosing the next fractal high is because this is the positive directional index. So I'm looking for the next fractal high, and I just came up with this strategy in about 15 minutes, and I wanted to just spend another sort of like few moments, to myself to try and work out how I'm going to explain it. Alright, so this is basically what I'm coming up with. Alright, so here is the positive directional index. It's above the negative directional index, therefore the trend has changed from a downtrend to an uptrend. So I'm looking for an up fractal. We have one here, and it seems to be 11 bars away. It's the first figure to the left. Alright, you got a middle figure of 1017, and then the next figure is 1.34495. Okay, the figure that we're interested in is the first figure, 11. Okay, and this lets you know how many bars it is away from the central point where you held down your left mouse button. Obviously that's if you're right-handed, but if you're left-handed and you've configured your mouse to work with a left-handed hand, or person, shall I say, left-handed hand, that doesn't sound right, but yes, and you should, if you've configured it for left-handed people, then you'll need to obviously press the opposite button. Alright, but for the most part you would need just for most people, is the left. And when you move it over, you can see now we're on that 84th bar back in time from that central point. So this one was like 11 bars. So I wasn't happy with that. Alright, because as I did more testing, I wanted to see, like, here's one spot right here, and this one happens within 3 bars. So my idea, my thought process is basically, I want to see the low of that, because that's where the next fractal low is. And now we've got the negative directional index above the positive directional index this time. I'm not really worried about this black line, the ADX line, at this point in time. So I'm taking that line there, Okay, and then it's on this candle right here, and I'm left clicking and I'm holding it back, and it says okay, I'm 3 bars away. That's my break point. Then I want to see how much it comes down to from that break point, and it's 71 pips. Now I want to see if this, I'm keeping this in the back of my mind as well, this 78 or 71 pips or whatever it is, the 71.6 pips. I'm keeping that in my mind at the moment, and I want to see if this number is hit more times often than not. And then if it isn't, then I will cut it in half, and I can kind of say to myself, well, every time I take on a trade where this condition meets true, then I should make the minimum pip out of it every single time. Alright, so let's go back and let's test a little bit more. And here is one where it crosses here. It's a positive directional index, and I'm going to count back from that bar. I don't think we can actually get on a bar precisely, so it's this bar. Okay, and then I go back, and that actually lands on the 5th bar back. That seems a little bit too much. I had a number after doing some testing, 4. There was a number 4 that kind of worked well on nearly every instance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5. Let's just keep going. And I'm looking for 2 down, fractal. Okay, that's too far away. 1, 2, 3. And that break point, it breaks there, it breaks from that point. I just need to know when it breaks. It's right there, and that goes up 150. Okay, so 71.6 and 150. That's 5 bars. Down bar. Alright, okay, some common sense would need to be put in line here. See, it's in a straight line. So you've already got this data. See, this data here, okay, let's just imagine that that wasn't there. That's how my mind's working. Alright, I'm thinking that this, I'm basically turning my eyesight off to this data on the right hand side. I'm just trying to concentrate on something. Okay, so I'm taking it from that point, and I want to look for the next fractal high, but my magic number's 4. Well, there's no real magic number, but you know, it's just a term of phrase that I'm using. Okay, and I want to see the more times where I feel there's a better, safer position to get in, like 4 or 5. I mean, that's 5 is kind of like, you know, a question mark with me right now. I haven't really thoroughly tested it, so let's just keep on going back. I won't keep this video on for too long, but I want to see if you can get a general understanding of what I'm trying to do. That's 10, and that one goes back 6. I'm looking for, hate to say the phrase, guaranteed pips, and that one's 2. So that's 2. So that gets triggered within the 4 that we need it in, and it gets triggered there, and that comes down a fair old bit, 358 pips, and that's right on that mark right there. And here's another sell trade opportunity, but that one goes back 5 bars. And I'm looking for a sell trade opportunity again, and the next closest one is 9 bars away, so that's no good. Here is one here, and that goes back 3 bars, and it does come down eventually, but it was one of those trades that kind of went back against itself a fair old bit. So this is something that we need to absorb as well, and take a look at the next previous high. Now, is this high here enough? I mean, I think for the average person that would be the area where you'd put it. I would like to actually put it over here personally. But my stop losses, you know, they're normally that high anyway. I mean, that's about average there, 300 pips or so. So yeah, so that's that would be, I don't know, it would really depend on the person on that one really. So I can't really predict the outcome on that one. Okay, so that one goes back within 3 bars and that goes up. So I mean, I could be pretty confident in using good money management, alright, and not over risking any lots or whatever, just sticking to one lot or two lots or what have you. Okay, and waiting for the right time when this crosses. I want to see that if it happens within 4 bars to get to the first fractal. Alright, so if this crossover here, because there's no up fractal, the first up fractal is 11 bars away. Alright, 11 periods away, 11 4-hour periods. Alright, I only want to see it when it gets to there. I want to see a fractal high right there. And that fractal high, or whatever it is, the top of that highest candle will dictate where the breakout will be. Okay, and same likewise for short trades. Okay, so here you have like a short trade opportunity here, and if our magic number was 9, for instance, which it isn't, it's 4. But if this was our magic number, we would be willing enough to wait or see what happened 9 bars back rather than just 4 bars back, then we can go ahead and take that trade and go long, short with it. Alright, and trail step it, take off half positions and so forth, safeguarding your, you know, your margin all the way. Alright, and actually walking away a winner every single time you open up a trade. Alright, so the quicker you safeguard your trades, the better. Longer time frames, you should be okay within the first 70 pips. But yeah, for the most part. Daily time frames, maybe 100. You can let it go for around about 100. Bring your stop loss up to break even. Take off half a lot, and have no TP. Just keep going up higher. Just use your stop loss to move your profits. Keep them in. All right. So there you go. Another strategy that I've just came up with for now, and that's pretty good price projection strategies. It has quite a lot of market intent behind it. Yeah, so it works out well. Anyways, play with that for 2 to 3 days. Alright, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye for now.